Now, but he's Matthew McConaughey, so there's only so far you can make him theological, okay? So he's doing research on scientists usurping the role of God in the search for truth and meaning in the universe. He's writing his thesis on this, but he's Matthew McConaughey. So in order for there to be a romantic tension, he says, well, I'm a man of the cloth, but without the cloth. See, that allows certain social dynamics to unfold. So here we are. Here's a scene at the Arecibo telescope in Puerto Rico. It was the largest telescope in the world until about 3 months ago. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So you know who's got the largest telescope? China. Precisely. China. So if any alien is going to speak to us, the Chinese will hear them before we will. Just saying. Let's make America smart again. I tweeted that a week ago. It went ballistic. And Twitter, it's like a zillion. And I was like, wow, it's really like resonated. Anyhow, so there they are, and they've never been that close to one another, because he's like a theology guy. But under the sky, things are different. Okay, in this scene, she recites something called the Drake equation, a cinematic version of the Drake equation. You start out with the number of stars in the galaxy, and then you hack away at it with fractions to get to an estimate of how many planets there might be with civilizations on them. So you start with a big number, you say, what fraction of those have planets? What fraction of those that have planets have life? What fraction of those that have planets that have life have intelligent life? That's how you do this, and you get an estimate, a guesstimate, really, of how many life forms you might communicate with. So she does this, and I'll play the clip. Just a quick question. Can you see this image very well from the back row? Yeah. So I'm worried because the lights might bounce and wash it out, but you're okay? Yeah. Okay, all right, good. So I'm not too bright up here? Which is fine? We cool? Okay. All right, so here we go.
Now there are 400 billion stars out there just in our galaxy alone. If only one out of a million of those had planets, all right, if just one out of a million of those had life, and if just one out of a million of those had intelligent life, there would be literally millions of civilizations out there.
Well, if there wasn't, it'd be an awful waste of space.
The very next frame, they wake up in bed together. Yes, okay. So that means, ladies, if you want to get your man, learn the Drake equation. And recite it. You'll get your man every time. All right. So I was invited to the world premiere of this film in Los Angeles. And I was friendly with the Sagan family at the time. He had died like 6 months earlier. And the movie was dedicated to him. And so I'm there in the audience. And so just to be clear, what she was doing, she was reciting the Drake equation. That's Frank Drake up there, came up with it. That's the complete Drake equation up on the board. This is a cinematic simplification of it that she recited. So we want to know the number of civilizations that are out there you can talk to. And so you start with the number of stars. You hack away what fraction of those are planets, and what fraction of that are life, what fraction is intelligent. This is what you do, okay? While she is reciting those numbers, I am going through the math in real time. I did this, okay? So here are her numbers. She goes in, starts with 400 billion stars. 1 in a million have planets. 1 in a million have life. 1 in a million have intelligent life. That still leaves millions of life forms to communicate with. And I'm doing the math in real time, but I don't get millions. I get this number. The movie Gravity came out, I got in trouble. I'll tell you why in a minute. But it basically has two actors in it, Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. And they're astronauts, and they go into space. I highly recommend the film. It's terrifying and amazingly filmed. So this is Sandra Bullock on her way to service the Hubble telescope docked with the space shuttle. And so I had a series of tweets that I led off with mysteries of gravity. And then I posed a question that I felt was not properly addressed. For example, Sandra Bullock in this film is a medical doctor. Why the hell is she touching my space telescope? Get her off my machine. This movie portrays a scenario where all satellites are destroyed. That is a real scenario. You can calculate this. The way it works is if you have enough satellites in orbit and you destroy one of them, let's use simple arithmetic so the idea matters here. So you break a satellite into 10 pieces, let's say. And then each one of those pieces breaks another satellite into 10 pieces. So you go from 1 to 10 to 100 to 1,000, and in a few iterations of this, you have destroyed 100% of all the satellites in Earth orbit. And that scenario was portrayed in this film in IMAX 3D stupefying splendor. Now, this is called the Kessler effect. It's real, as I said. It was discovered in 1978, and NASA tracks debris that could do this. You go to the NASA Orbital Debris Program Office, right? There's a website, and I went there, and you could download where all the debris is at this moment that NASA's tracking. So that's Earth in the middle, inside that sort of beehive. That outer ring is the debris that has fallen off from communication satellites. They orbit much higher up. And here it is. You can track them in real time. This is the garbage orbiting Earth. Imagine aliens coming upon this. You say, what the hell is wrong with these people? Let's keep going. That's why we've never been visited, because they're looking at this. I'm not coming near this crap. What? Here's a scene where everything's getting destroyed. Sandra Bullock has a limited amount of oxygen left, and this is George Clooney at the other end of a tether, okay? And she wants to go save him. There's a little bit of romantic tension between them. She wants to go save him, but he knows, and she knows she doesn't have enough oxygen to pull off that task. So he does sort of the manly hero thing, and what does he do? He lets go and drifts away so that she will then not save him. Here's the problem. They are floating in space. All she has to do is tug. That's just one tug. And he will drift towards her. Okay? That could have even been romantic, you know, with the helmets getting closer and closer than the hip. She wasn't swinging him around like this. In fact, had he let go, this way, look, if he lets go, it would just stay there. Is that dangling from a cliff? They did a lot of great things with zero-G, you know, notepads floating. They even had flame done properly in zero-G. It's fascinating. If you burn a candle in any kind of gravity field, the hot air rises, leaving a partial vacuum, fresh air comes in, giving fresh oxygen to the flame. In zero-G, the candle burns, it's using the oxygen in the area. The air gets hot, but it doesn't know which way to go, because there is no up or down, so it just stays there. Then the oxygen consumes, the candle consumes all the oxygen in that bubble of gas, and it extinguishes itself. So they knew this in the film. It's brilliant. They did it brilliantly. The one thing they neglected, and this is, I said, mysteries of gravity, what they neglected is her bangs always knew which way gravity was. Now,
I'm entering this log for the record. This is Mark Watney, and I'm still alive. Obviously. I have no way to contact NASA or my crewmates, but even if I could, it would take 4 years for another manned mission to reach me. And I'm in a hab designed to last 31 days. So, in the face of overwhelming odds, I'm left with only one option. I'm gonna have to science the shit out of this. Okay, let's do the math. I gotta figure out how to grow 4 years worth of food here, on a planet where nothing grows. But if I can't figure out a way to make contact with NASA, none of this matters anyway.
Houston, be advised. We've got a video message. It's directed to the whole crew. Play it.
My God. Mark Watney's still alive. In your face, Neil Armstrong.
So, among the many milestones of this film, I love it anytime a noun becomes a verb. The birth of a new tense for a word. Not only that, all the major activity of this film was expressed through the lens of science, technology, engineering, and math. You didn't know where he was born, or if he had siblings, or had a girlfriend, or a boyfriend. None of that mattered, because all you cared about is he smart enough to not die? That was that, and so that's where all the suspense was embedded in that challenge. And I think it may be a first in movie making where interpersonal relationships is not what carried the suspense or flavor interest of the film. And it had marquee actors, each having had star roles in films of their own, all coming together, playing scientists and engineers and mathematicians. It's, I think, a sign of hope. Let's make America smart again. All right.